Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Kids Church at Home. We're so glad that you guys are joining us. I hope you're doing well. I know for you, those of you who are starting school, it's kind of an odd and a weird year, but I hope things are going well. For those of you who are homeschooled, which I think everyone's kind of homeschooled a little bit this year, I hope you're enjoying what we homeschoolers have enjoyed for all of our lives, which is doing our schoolwork in our PJs. It's a good life, isn't it? Yeah. It's nice. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I miss you guys. For those of you who participated yesterday in our drive-through adventure, I hope you had a lot of fun. And gosh, it was just such a great time to be together. Now, if you didn't get to participate, you missed out on the fun, and that's okay. But we wanted you to see a little bit of the fun. So here's some pictures and some videos from our drive-through adventure yesterday, so you can relive a little bit of the fun. Here is yesterday's drive-through adventure. Awesome. It was so great getting to see everyone do some fun and wild and crazy things, and it was a blast. I hope you and your family had a good time doing it. I want to talk about some things happening in the fall that we're really excited about. As you know, we have begun preparations for our Kingdom Kids musical. Now, the deadline to sign up for Kingdom Kids is over. If for any reason you just missed the deadline and you're like, what were we thinking? Just email me and we'll sneak you in. I know a guy who can get you in. It's me. So if you are not in Kingdom Kids and you wanted to be, we'll get you in. Just let me know. But I want to tell you about what's going to happen, because this week I'm going to send out a video that is only for Kingdom Kids. Secret Kingdom Kid video. It's going to be just like this, and I'm going to walk you through what our kids musical is going to look like. I'm going to tell you all the different videos we're going to be doing and things that you can do now to start getting ready, ways that you can practice and just start building up Christmas cheer for our Christmas musical. Again, it's all going to be done on video, and as you've been watching Kids Church at Home, you know, we've been doing a lot of different kind of videos, whether we're doing Kids Church at Home videos or we did some camp videos this summer. The church has done a lot of videos on Sunday with the choir. And so kind of using all those different tools that we got, we're going to put on a Christmas show that's different than anything we've ever done. And I'm super excited about it. So be looking in your email. Your parents will get an email from me this week that has a link to a video that's just for Kingdom Kids that you can watch that tells you everything we're doing and how you can begin to participate, how you can get involved. So be on the lookout for that. The other thing is Adventure Crew that starts this week. So you should have already gotten your Adventure Crew book. Either you picked it up at Kids Church in person, or we mailed it to your house, or I came and snuck into your house and delivered it. No, I didn't do that. But you should have your Adventure Crew book. Start getting ready for mile marker number 1, because this Wednesday you are going to say your first verse to your parents. So your parents will be the ones to sign your book. Normally it's our awesome Adventure Crew guides, but your parents are going to be our at-home Adventure Crew guides. So you'll say your verse, your mile marker, and your extra mile to them on Wednesday. And they'll sign your book. And now don't get ahead. Remember, we're just on mile marker number 1 for this Wednesday. We're going to do one other thing that we're really excited about. One of the fun things about Adventure Crew is not just that we're learning these verses, but also we work really hard to try and understand what these verses mean, to kind of understand the meaning of them and how they help us live as a Christian, how we, what's called, apply them to our life. Meaning, how do we take these verses and make it mean something to the way that we live our life? And so we have a teaching video that we're going to be sending out every Wednesday. That's Miss Debbie, who teaches every week at Adventure Crew. She did a video that she's going to put out every week that we put together. So you'll get one of those every single Wednesday, and it'll teach you through the verse that you are saying on that day. So this Wednesday, you'll say your verse to your parents. They'll sign your book, and you can also watch Miss Debbie's video. It's about 10 minutes, just a little teaching video on the verse, and she's got really cool pictures and drawings and things, and I think you're really going to enjoy it, and we'll be putting that out every Wednesday for as long as we are at home. Now, hopefully before too long, we can come back and we can start getting involved and start having Adventure Crew here in person, but until that happens, we're going to be putting out these videos on Wednesday, so keep an eye on that, and we are really excited about what we're getting to do for that. So that's Adventure Crew, and that's coming up. Now we want to get into our Kids Church lesson, but first, here are the Kids Church rules.
Welcome to the Kids Church rules with me, Skeeter. Rule number 1, please sit up straight. Rule number 2, look up front. Rule number 3, please keep your hands in your lap. Rule number 4, please don't talk to anyone. And rule number 5, please don't let anyone talk to you. And rule number 6, please eat your vegetables. I love vegetables, radishes, potatoes, turnips, celery, tomatoes, carrots, other things. I love all vegetables. Goodbye.
Every week, we ask the big question. This month, our question is about Jesus performing miracles. And here's the question. Why did Jesus perform miracles? We have looked at many miracles that Jesus has performed, and we looked at many of the reasons why Jesus performed miracles. We saw one of the reasons that Jesus performed miracles was to show that he was God. He calmed the wind and the waves, and the only one who can control the creation would be the Creator. The only one who can perform a miracle and do something that breaks the rules of this world is someone who's not from this world. All of us are bound by the constraints of this world. Gravity affects you and me. As much as I want to fly, I can't fly. You know why? Because I'm from the world, and here at the world, guess what? We don't fly. Superman? No, he's not real. He can't fly. I can fall. I can get a parachute and fall slowly. I can get a hang glider and fall even slower, but that doesn't mean I can fly. I can't walk on water. I can if it's frozen, but that's different. I can't walk on wet water. When I stand on water, I sink. That's what every person does. And then we see Jesus do that, and it shows that he is not from here. He is God. We also saw that Jesus performed miracles because he wanted people to come to see how much he loved them. He cared for their needs. So we saw Jesus feeding the 5,000. He knew that people were hungry, they needed food. He performed this miracle not only just to show that he was God, but also to care for the needs of the people. We see that Jesus healed people for this very reason. It's not just showing them that they're God, but also he wanted these people to have the needs that they wanted, that they needed. Last week, Jesus didn't just calm the storm, but he actually walked on the water. And when he did, the disciples who had seen Jesus perform miracles, finally they began to realize, who is this? They asked that question when Jesus calmed the wind and the waves. Who is this that even the wind and the waves obey him? And then Jesus walks on the water, and they realize, surely, truly, he is God. And this miracle helped them have faith in God. We're going to look at one more reason why Jesus performed miracles today. And this miracle is a little different than any other miracle that we've seen. Jesus is not going to walk on water. He's not going to heal the sick or the blind, or he's not going to raise the dead. He's going to do something different than we've seen, because he is going to show some of his disciples something that they've never fully seen. He is going to show them the glory of God. Now, we saw a miracle that made people think, wow, this guy really is God. We saw a miracle that made people think, wow, God really does care for people. We saw another miracle last week, Jesus walking on the water, that made people think, wow, this God should be worshiped. Well, today we're going to see a miracle that Jesus performed that was meant to show his glory, the glory of God to the people around him. Jesus is going to show some of his disciples something they've never seen, and something unlike anything that they will see on earth. Check this out.
One day, Jesus led 3 of his disciples, Peter, James, and John, up on a high mountain to pray. The disciples fell fast asleep. As Jesus prayed, his appearance suddenly changed. His face was shining like the sun, and his clothes were as white as the light. The disciples woke up and saw Moses and Elijah talking with Jesus. Peter said, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you want, I will set up 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While Peter was still speaking, a bright cloud suddenly covered them. A voice from the cloud said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." The disciples heard this and fell face down. They were terrified. Jesus came up and touched them. "Get up," he said. "Don't be afraid." When the disciples looked up, they did not see Moses or Elijah anymore. They only saw Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, Jesus said to them, "Don't tell anyone what you saw until the Son of Man is raised from the dead." The disciples did not tell anyone, but they wondered what Jesus meant. They asked him, "Why do the scribes say that Elijah must come before the Messiah comes?" Jesus explained that Elijah had already come. That is, a prophet like Elijah had come. The people did not recognize him as a prophet, and they mistreated him. Jesus said, "In the same way, the Son of Man is going to suffer at their hands." Then the disciples realized Jesus was talking about John the Baptist. Jesus showed his glory to Peter, James, and John. Jesus said he would die, rise from the dead, and return to heaven. One day, Jesus will come back to earth in his glory to make all things new.
We were created with a purpose. And the purpose that God made us for was that we are made to show the glory of God to the world around us. And Jesus came and he did that perfectly. And on this situation, there's a big word that we use to refer to this story. It's called the transfiguration. It's a big word. But it was really Jesus showing the disciples like his real glory. And they were amazed and they marveled at it. And here was Jesus showing the great glory of God. Now, we want to look a little bit about what we mean when we say the glory of God. And that's exactly what our questions from kids is about today. So here's our questions from kids about what the glory of God is to help us better understand what we mean by that. Check it out.
Hi there, I'm Pastor Brian, and it's time for Questions from Kids. Mackenzie from Bloomfield, New Mexico asks,
What is God's glory?
You know, Mackenzie, God's glory actually has kind of two different ideas to it. The first one is this. The Bible speaks of God's glory as his presence. It's often described as a bright light, a brilliant light. I think of Moses back in the book of Exodus where he asks to see God's glory, and God shows him just this bright light and so forth. And Moses, when he comes off of the mountain after getting the Ten Commandments, the Bible says his face shone brightly. Moses' face shone brightly because he was in the presence of God, and it was God's glory being revealed through him. And so that's one aspect. But the greater aspect is this. It's just basically who God is. God's glory is his character. It's how great he is. That's what glory means, this brilliance. That's why bright light is often used as the Bible to describe it, because God, who he is so great, so brilliant. And so we think about God's characteristics, his attributes. We think about how loving he is, how gracious he is, how merciful, how just he is. And we think about these different attributes and who he is, how he acts, and it helps us understand who he is, and we love him because of it. Here's the thing. When we encounter God's glory, the result should be that we should be in awe of God. We should be drawn to him and think, man, you are amazing, God. And then what we want to do is we want to share God with others so that they can reach the same conclusion. That's what it means when we glorify God. We don't add anything to him. We simply share him with others so that they can join in sitting or staying in awe of God and saying, man, God is fantastic. He's amazing. And we recognize God for who he is, our greatest treasure, our greatest joy. So really, God's glory is about that. It's about who he is, what he's done, and how amazing he is. So a question for you is this: how can we show others God's glory by how we live?
You know, when you see something really beautiful, whether it's an incredible sunset or you go somewhere and see an incredible sight, just imagine if you went to the Grand Canyon. I would imagine you would want to tell someone about that, right? You take pictures when you see a beautiful sunset or you see something incredible because you want to share that. It's not just about keeping it to yourself. It's that you want everyone else to see what you saw. You witnessed it and you were like, I can't wait to tell my friends or my mom or my dad something that I saw, something incredible, because part of really experiencing something and really enjoying it and really part of sharing in something's glory is telling other people about it. And for us as Christians, as we experience the glory of God, whether we are reading his word or we are worshiping him through prayer or through hearing the teaching of the word of God, or just through our own time of really getting to know God as we pray, as we experience the glory of God, what happens is that it should move us to want to share the glory of God. You know, as if we are coming back and saying, hey, you got to know what I just saw. You got to see. You know, we as Christians are called to share the glory of God. There's no glory in us, but we are meant to reflect that glory back to other people. Think about the moon. The moon is really beautiful and it's very lovely. There's love songs written about the moon. We have sent people to the moon. Some of you maybe came from the moon. But it's this beautiful thing at night, you know. For me and my kids, whenever we go outside, we always, see the moon and it's just fun. And there's the waning and the waxing and the gibbous and the crescent, and it's just this lovely thing. But you know what about the moon? It's really interesting. The moon really has no glory of itself. The moon is a rock. That's it. The moon is just a rock. The moon is kind of not good for anything. It's not lovely without something else. Do you know what that something else is? Do you know why the moon is so beautiful? Why it shines so pretty at night? Do you know why that is? It's because the sun is shining light on the moon. If the sun goes away, then you've got a rock in the dark, and that's not that pretty, right? No one's writing love songs about a rock in the dark. People are writing songs about the moon and how it shimmers and how it glows and it's beautiful, and it's only beautiful because something greater is shining on it. This greater light. The sun shines on the moon, the people of earth see the moon, and we marvel at the beauty of the moon, but really the beauty of the moon comes from the brightness of the sun. And that's how we are to be as Christians. We are to be reflecting the glory of God to the world around us. And the problem is that most of us try to reflect the glory of ourselves. We want other people to think highly of me instead of thinking more highly of God. And so as Christians, we want to point other people to the glory of God, and that's why God created us. We are to shine the glory of God to the world around us. And we want to celebrate the glory of God, and we want to celebrate the person of Jesus Christ this morning. And so we want to sing a song that we're learning. We've learned this in Kids Church at Home, but we're going to do some new hand motions that go along with this. And it says, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen His glory. And so that's what we want to sing about this morning. We hope you'll stand up with us and learn these hand motions and do them along, and hope you'll sing with us.
John 1:14.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. And we have seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. Full of grace and truth, 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 yeah. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we've seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. And we've seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. Full of grace and truth, full of grace and truth, full of grace and truth, full of grace and truth. Oh. And we have seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father. Full of grace and truth, 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 full of grace and truth. He is saving you with grace and truth.
You know, God's glory is not just His incredible beauty of all that He's created. There's also an incredible amount of glory that comes from the fact that He is big and mighty, and He is able to save us. And so we want to sing another song about how God is mighty to save us. This one has some new hand motions as well, and we hope you'll learn them with us and sing along.
Zephaniah 3:17.
The Lord your God is with you, He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you, He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you, He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you, the Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you, He will quiet you with His love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Oh, the Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you. He will quiet you with His love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Oh, the Lord your God is with you. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you. The Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you. He will quiet you with His love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Oh, the Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you. He will quiet you with His love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Oh, the Lord your God is with you. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save.
All right, and now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for Argus's bad joke of the day. Here it is. Great job, Argus. Terrible as always. All right. Well, now it is time to move on to the Sunday Showdown. Now, here at the Sunday Showdown, we are going to do something that we didn't get to do this year. Usually in March, we have something called March Madness, when all the animals go crazy. No, that's not true. March Madness is the big basketball tournament that happens for college basketball. 64 teams keep playing until they get down to one team, and it's just wild, and you fill out your brackets. And I don't know much about basketball, but I know a lot of people didn't get to enjoy that, and it's a bummer. So we want to give you March Madness, but the version that I like, and I'm calling it Arch Madness. These are questions not about basketball, but about McDonald's. So I'm going to ask you questions about McDonald's, and let's see how well you do. And if you win a hamburger from McDonald's that you will have to go and pay for yourself. Congratulations. All right, are you ready? Here is question number 1 for Arch Madness. And the question is this. What was the first item on the menu when McDonald's first opened? Was it hamburger, hot dog, French fries, or a grilled cheese sandwich? So when McDonald's very first opened, the first McDonald's ever, what was on the menu? And the answer is hot dog. I gotta be honest, they gave that up pretty quick. You can't get a hot dog there anymore, can you? I've tried. Next time you go to McDonald's, just say, hey, give me the original and see if they send you a hot dog. They're not going to. It'll confuse them. But at least you'll be like, did you know? And they'll say, sir, just please move through the drive-thru, take your McRib, and get out of here. All right, here is our next question. What is the best-selling item on the McDonald's menu? What do they sell more of than anything else? Is it Big Macs, shakes, French fries, Egg McMuffins, or E, free packets of ketchup? No, which one of these things is the big seller? And the answer is the French fries. Of course it's the French fries, because it's the only good thing going on there, except for the Shamrock Shake. Like that guy. All right, here is our next question. The true or false, the golden arches are the most recognizable symbol in the world. The little golden arches, we only have one arch here for copyright stuff, but the golden arches is the most recognizable symbol. There's symbols all over the place. On the back of your iPhone, you got the little Apple symbol. Cars have the little symbols on the front of it. PlayStation, all the kind of different symbols, but the number one worldwide recognizable symbol is McDonald's. True or false? And the answer is true. True. Who thought the letter M could make so many people happy and hungry? I'm loving it. All right, are you ready? Here is our next question. And the question is this. How many pounds of beef are consumed at McDonald's in 1 year in the U.S.? 1 million, 20 million, 500,000, or 1 billion? The crazy thing is 50% of this is consumed by a guy named Tony. That's not true. But which one is it? How much beef is getting eaten by Americans? We like it. And the answer is D, 1 billion. Good heavens, Tony, that's a lot of Big Macs. Maybe they should change your name to Mac. All right, here is our next McDonald question. Which of these McD's menu items contains the most calories? Ooh, is it the hot fudge sundae, the large fries, the double cheeseburger, or the Southwest chicken salad? All of those I usually eat together for lunch. Which one of these has the most calories? Well, could it be the fries? Those are fattening. Surely it's not the salad because that's the healthy option. Let's see what the answer is. And the answer is, it's the salad! That's right, the salad. People are trying to eat salads to get healthy and McDonald's is tricking them. I'm putting an end to this. All right, here is our next McDonald's question. McD's coats their fries in this in order to brown them. Do they coat them in sugar, canola oil, butter, or vinegar? So in order to make them brown and look nice and roasted, toasted, and fried, what do they coat them in? Well, the answer is they coat them in sugar. They somehow made fries even more unhealthy. It's like McDonald's is trying to kill us. No, all right. Here is our last McDonald's question, and the answer is this. McDonald's world famous secret sauce, they put that on the Big Mac, consists of mustard, mayo, and Thousand Island dressing, onions, sweet pickle relish, or ketchup. When you get the Big Mac, it's got that secret sauce on it, and we're about to break the secret wide open right here at Kids Church at Home. What is it? The answer is sweet pickle relish. Wow. Way to go, McDonald's. You're really doing it. All right, well, I hope you did well. I don't know about you, but I'm about to go head over to McDonald's and get me a hamburger and some fries covered in sugar and a side of heart attack. All right, well, we now want to move on to our missions moment. Our missions moment today, we're going to look at a small church that's in the state of Tennessee. You know, missions, we support missions in a lot of different ways. We have missionaries, you've seen some of the missionaries that we support, the Howells, who they spend their time translating the Bible into the language of the people so they can have the Bible in their hands. And the way that they're able to do that, right, the way that the Howells are able to spend all day, every day, translating the Bible, is other people are helping them do that by helping send money to them. Now, if the Howells didn't have money sent to them, then that means they would need to get jobs, they would need to go to work, and then they would be translating the Bible just in their free time. Or if churches here in our country or around the world are sending money to missionaries, they're able to free them up so that they can then translate the Bible more, share the gospel more, plant more churches, disciple more people. The gospel can spread. And you, no matter who you are, can be a part of this incredible mission. And the way that you can do that is by helping raise money, by helping send money. One of the things that we do as a church, we do something called Faith Promise. We do this every year where we commit money to give to missions. And it's money that we plan on not knowing where it comes from. It's not just, all right, I'm going to make $100 every week from work, so I'm going to give $1 a week to missions or whatever. Instead, it's saying, all right, God, I want to trust you for how you're going to provide for this. So I'm going to give $100 this year. I don't know where it's going to come from. If I find a way to maybe raise the money, or if maybe I get money out of nowhere, or maybe someone gives me money for my birthday that I wasn't expecting, I'm just going to give you this money and I'm going to trust you. And that's one way that we support missions. Another way that we support missions is by people raising money to give missions. And we're going to look at this one church in Tennessee that has a really neat idea of how they're raising money for missions. They're not a big church. They're not a church with tons and tons of money, but they are a church that are able to give in unique ways, and they're giving in different ways. And so check this out about how each church has their own way of supporting missions around the world. Check it out.
My name is Steve Lakin, and I pastor First Baptist Church in Andersonville. That's located in East Tennessee. Our average attendance is about 125. If we have 100 here on a Sunday, we think that we're doing very, very well. So let's bow our heads together. We got involved in missions whenever we realized that we had a surplus in our budget. And the church all agreed, there was no opposition to it whatsoever, to take that surplus money that we had and put that toward sending a couple overseas. And ever since that time, we have been sacrificially giving in order to support them.
At our church, we have a missions table where people can sell things that they make to raise money for our missionaries overseas. Brownies, I've got some canned goods, and this shuka, it is all the way from Africa. We have people who can't go overseas for whatever reason, but they can make things with their hands. The missions table is one small part of how we raise money for our missionaries.
There's so many unreached people groups that have not heard the story of Christ. And so, to me personally, I just feel the urgency that if we're going to do something, we better do it now and get out there and go at it and do it. I encourage small churches, just like mine, don't let smallness get in your way. You do what God has told you to do in the Great Commission, and then you watch Him open other doors for you and use you in a wonderful way.
Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. We want to look at our verse and review that before we move on. And our verse is this, Psalm 40, verse 5. You have multiplied, O Lord my God, your wondrous deeds and your thoughts toward us. None can compare with you. I will proclaim and tell of them, yet they are more than can be told. God has done incredible and wondrous things, and we want to share those things. Which brings us to the answer to our big question. And our big question was this: why did Jesus perform miracles? And the answer is, Jesus performed miracles to glorify God, to show He is the Son of God, and to care for people. This morning we saw Jesus perform this incredible miracle that was all about the glory of God. It wasn't giving people food. It wasn't walking on water. It wasn't healing the sick. It was all about the disciples getting to see the great glory of God. And then living out in the glory of God, reflecting that glory to the world around them. Well, let's see how well you've been paying attention in our big review. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us at Kids Church at Home this week. I miss you guys. Don't forget this Wednesday, tune in for our Adventure Crew. We'll post it up on our YouTube channel. Also, you can get our Kingdom Kids information about the musical coming this week. So check out your email for that. It'll come later on this week. A special little video from me. I miss you guys. Love you. Can't wait to see you. Stay safe and have a great week. Bye.